This week we're focusing on 12.3, which is subtracting rational numbers. Last week we were adding rational numbers. And so you need to remember to continue to follow the rules for integers, which you learned a few weeks ago, and I'll remind you again right here. And so that rule when you're subtracting is keep, change, flip. And so let me show you a few examples. So pause your video now if you need to write the rest of this down. But let's say we have 4 minus a negative 3. When I say keep, change, flip, I'm keeping 4, changing subtraction to addition, and flipping the sign of the second number. So this would become a positive 3. And then these would add 4 plus 3 is 7. Let me give you another example. So say we've got negative 6 minus 8. So keep, change to addition, flip the sign to the opposite, so this becomes a negative 8, and then follow the rules for adding integers. So since the signs are the same, you add and you keep the sign. This would be a negative 14. Okay, so you need to make sure you know those rules before you try these problems today. So let's start with decimals. Today we'll do all decimals. So EX1. And then tomorrow will be fractions. So let's say we have 12.8 minus 21.6. So step 1, when you're subtracting, you always want to keep, change, flip. I'm going to put a 1 next to that. So keep, change, flip. So keep 12.8, change subtraction to addition, and flip to be a negative 21.6. All right, now you follow your rules for integers. So I'm going to put a step 2, follow integer rules for adding, and I'll put a plus sign. So your rule when you're adding is that if the signs are different, in this case they are, you've got a positive number and a negative number, you actually subtract them. When you're subtracting, you have to put the number with the larger absolute value on top. Because you do need to write these vertically so that you can subtract them. So step 3, I'm going to write when subtracting, write larger absolute value on top. So in this case, that would be the negative 21.6. So when I write this vertically, maybe I'll change my color. When I write this vertically, it becomes 21.6 minus 12.8. I'm going to worry about the sign of my number at the end. If you look at it now, you'll know it'll be negative because negative 21.6 has a larger absolute value. So I'll just stick the negative sign in at the end. We have to do a little bit of borrowing here. This would become a 16. This would become a 10. Decimal point goes straight down. Again, since the negative 21.6 has a larger absolute value, this becomes a negative 8.8. So that's your final answer for A. I guess your fourth step could be decimal, meaning move your decimal straight down, and sign. So double check the sign of your answer. In this case, it would need to be negative. Let me do another one for you. I'm going to clear my page. So it'll be B. Let's say you have negative 8.4 minus 6.7. So first step is to keep, change, flip. So keep 8.4, change to addition, flip to be a negative 6.7. There we go. Now follow your integer rules. So since both of those numbers are negative, they have the same sign, you're going to add this time and keep your sign negative. That's the rule. So when you're adding with decimals, it doesn't really matter which number you put on top, but just to keep it consistent, I'm going to put the number with the larger absolute value on top. That would be my negative 8.4. And again, I'm going to wait until the end to worry about the signs. So I've got 8.4, 6.7, and again, I'm adding this time because I have the same signs in my numbers. So I've got 11, 15, 19, decimal point straight down. And again, since I'm adding with two negative numbers, I'm going to keep it negative at the end. So this final answer would be negative 15.1. I just want to show you number 19, which is one of your assignment problems today. I'm going to give you a hint, help you start it off. So number 19 looks like this. It's 6.59, I would write this down, plus negative 7.8 minus negative 2.41. So this is the original problem. And so you've got a few different numbers here. And so step one, you always want to keep change flip. This is already addition right here. So the only thing you need to keep change and flip, so keep change and flip, is the second part. So I'm just going to help you rewrite your problem so you know where to start. So you've got 6.59 plus, we're going to keep a negative 7.8, change to addition, and flip this to be a positive 2.41. And so my suggestion to you is probably to work from left to right at this point. Although there's a few different ways you can do this, I definitely suggest starting at the left and just moving your way right. So you would solve for this first, and then after you get that answer, add 2.41 to it. It's just like having another step to your problem, but I bet you can figure it out. Good luck.